One of humanity's oldest ancestors. Could it actually not be human at all? The discovery of a Homo habilis skeleton in Kenya has reignited the debate that this species may belong to a different group than the Homo genus. In 1964, the renowned paleoanthropologist Louis Leakey coined the name Homo habilis to describe a 2-million-year-old jawbone found in Tanzania. In doing so, he gave this mysterious specimen human status and placed it at the very beginning of the Homo lineage, to which we also belong. However, he may have been wrong in doing so. Ian Tattersall of the American Museum of Natural History says, "Don't be fooled by the Homo habilis issue. It shouldn't have been placed in the Homo genus from the beginning. The type species for the Homo genus is Homo sapiens. Therefore, anything you put in that genus needs to have at least something in common with Homo sapiens. And of course, there is no such commonality in any of the habilis material." The ongoing debate over the identity of Homo habilis has been reignited by the discovery of the most complete skeleton ever found of this enigmatic species. Newly unearthed fossils in Kenya offer us our first glimpse of this ancient hominin's limbs and body, revealing it to be far more ape-like than any true member of the Homo genus. In his commentary on this discovery, Tattersall summarizes the current state of affairs regarding Homo habilis, tracing the origins of the confusion back to Leakey's original mistake. He explains that at the time, researchers were passionately committed to the idea of tool-making man, suggesting that humanity was defined not by morphology but by its tool-making abilities. At the time, Leakey and his wife Mary were searching for the makers of Oldowan tools, the oldest known hominin tools dating back approximately 2.5 million years, found in the Olduvai Valley. It was during this time that their son Jonathan stumbled upon a prehistoric jawbone. Tattersall says, naturally, they embraced. The jawbone shafts of H. habilis and other early Homo were thicker than those of modern humans and all living apes, comparable to Australopithecus. Alongside Homo erectus, sensu lato, the East African fossil record of early Homo has been interpreted as representing either a single variant species, Homo habilis, or two species, although in the latter case there is no consensus on the relevant groupings and which of these includes the 1.8 million-year-old H. habilis holotype, 07. This partial skull and hand from the Olduvai Gorge remain fundamental to assessing the early evolution of the Homo lineage and the prioritization of one or the other of the two taxa. However, the skewed preservation of the diagnostically important 07 lower jaw has hampered attempts to compare this specimen with other fossils. The reconstructed lower jaw is quite primitive. The long and narrow dentition arch is more similar to that of Australopithecus afarensis than to the derived parabolic arches of Homo sapiens or H. erectus. This shape variability has been found to be inconsistent with a single early Homo species. More importantly, the jaw morphology of 07 is inconsistent with fossils belonging to Homo rudolfensis and AL 666-1 Homo maxilla. The latter is morphologically more derived than 07 but 500,000 years older. This suggests that the H. habilis lineage emerged 2.3 million years ago, thus pointing to the well-established species diversity within the Homo genus. Furthermore, the parietal bones of 07 were reconstructed and its endocranial volume estimated to be between 729 and 824 milliliters, larger than any previously published value, highlighting the almost complete overlap of brain size among early Homo species. H. habilis is associated with the early Stone Age Oldowan stone tool industry. Individuals likely used these tools primarily for slaughtering and skinning animals and breaking bones, but they also occasionally used them for cutting and carving wood and felling soft plants. Several approaches have been used to date H. habilis fossils from Olduvai, and a reasonably accurate timescale for Olduvai has been developed. The oldest remains, including 024, are from about 1.8 to 1.9 Maya. Others such as 07 and 062 are not quite so ancient. One of the youngest remains, 016, is from 1.7 Maya. The youngest Olduvai skull that is representative of early Homo is 013. No radiometric date for it is available, but other dating methods estimate it to be about 1.5 million years old. In the Kubi-Fora region, a number of important fossils have been located near a level of volcanic ash that also contains stone tools. This ash bed was dated to about 2.6 Maya. When 1470 was discovered several meters below this layer, it was thought that the newfound cranium must document Homo from a time well before the Olduvai deposits had accumulated. This assumption was soon questioned on the basis of other evidence, however, and before 1980 it was clear that the age had been overestimated. A series of radiometric determinations done subsequently has yielded a date of 1.88 Maya. The Ur 1470 skull and other H. habilis specimens recovered below this ash layer, therefore, must be close to 2 million years old. Evidence from East Africa thus suggests that H. habilis lived for 500,000 years or so before giving way to later Homo species. It is thought that the first hominins, including H. habilis, had thick body hair like modern non-human apes because they appear to have lived in colder regions and had a less active lifestyle than post-Homo ergaster species. They probably needed thick body hair to stay warm. Looking at tooth development rates, it is assumed that H. habilis had a faster growth rate compared to modern humans. Typically, H. ergaster, H. erectus is considered the first human to live in a monogamous society, and all previous hominins were polygamous. The number of Homo habilis groups is estimated to be between 70 to 85, and it is thought that Homo habilis obtained its meat from smaller predators such as jackals and cheetahs rather than hunting it itself, a hypothesis called the scavenger hypothesis. Consistent tooth wear from prolonged exposure to acid suggests that fruit was also an important dietary component. Homo habilis likely did not regularly and consistently consume hard foods, and findings of fish remains at archaeological sites associated with H. habilis indicate that freshwater fish were also consumed. It is generally thought that H. habilis and other early Homo species typically had a higher proportion of meat in their diet compared to Australopithecus, which led to brain growth. The large incisor size in H. habilis compared to Australopithecus ancestors implies that this species relied more heavily on its incisors. Actually, this topic is quite controversial in the world of anthropology. Although it was long accepted as the first human, Homo, this title has been shaken in recent years. Here's why. Homo gaudengensis. This species, proposed in 2010, is older than Homo habilis according to some scientists. Ledi Jararu, a 2.8 million-year-old fossil found in Ethiopia, it is considered the oldest remains belonging to the Homo genus and dates back approximately 400 to 500,000 years before habilis. Classification crisis. Some researchers argue that due to its body structure, Homo habilis should actually be classified as an Australopithecus, pre-human hominids. So, although it still officially holds its place in textbooks, the scientific world is now much more cautious about who the first example was. Are you more interested in the physical changes or the use of tools in this evolutionary transition? It didn't look very much like a member of the Homo genus, but according to the definition of tool-making man, it should be in the Homo genus. However, that was never a good way to determine if something was a member of the Homo genus, Tattersall insists. Nevertheless, anthropologists have been reluctant to reclassify the specimen because the remains don't seem to fit into anything else. For example, the other hominin genus that roamed East Africa 2 million years ago was Australopithecus, but it's difficult to say which clade this fossil fragment belongs to. Paleoanthropologists work on the basis that if it's not Australopithecus, it's Homo, and if it's not Homo, it must be Australopithecus, says Tattersall. That's the reason for the confusion we're in today. In this particular case, Tattersall explains, we're looking at something that can't necessarily be attributed to Australopithecus, but is definitely not Homo either. So it's something else, but nobody has done the basic work to determine what it should be called. Aside from tool-making skills, the specimen known as Homo habilis shares very few characteristics with other members of the Homo genus. In fact, the morphological characteristics that define our ancestry begin with Homo ergaster, also known as African Homo erectus, and many researchers now consider this to be the first true human species. The greatest mistake in human history, we mistook the wrong species for human. Don't forget to subscribe and like for more videos like this.